Some people say medical device sales reps make $80,000, others say $500,000, so what's the truth? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how medical device sales reps get paid, from entry-level associates all the way up to reps making $300,000, $500,000, even $700,000 per year. So by the end of this video, you'll understand these three things. First is how the pay structure actually works in medical device sales. Second, how quickly you can hit six figures entering this industry. And then third, how some reps make $500,000, $700,000, even up to $1 million a year in commissions. Now, I know you're going to be tempted to skip to that last part of the video, but it won't make sense unless you watch the other parts, so I ask that you hold off. But we've got a bunch to cover here today, guys. Let's dive in. If you're new here, this is the Break Into Medical Device Sales YouTube channel and podcast. Free content dedicated towards helping you land your first lucrative medical device sales gig, regardless of your experience level. My name is Vince. I broke into medical device sales out of college. I was 23 years old. I had nothing but retail experience. And in just a year after breaking in, I was making $180,000 a year or more at age 24 years old. I was a rep for about 8 years. I worked in multiple divisions, and I exited the industry as the #1 rep nationally for a multi-billion-dollar medical device company. And I'm only saying that for context and credibility here. So it's important here is before we actually talk about the income and the way that the pay structure works, we have to understand the different positions in medical device sales, because that will greatly determine how you get paid. The hierarchy of reps works like this. First, breaking into the industry is typically an associate position. This is an entry-level role where you learn the business, you're supporting the senior reps, and you're protecting a lot of the accounts that you already have business at. Then this moves up into what's known as a territory manager position. A territory manager position is like the account executive position of medical device sales. When you hear of medical device sales reps, you are typically referring to a territory manager. They hunt new business, they're responsible for revenue, they have their own book of business, their own geography to grow and manage and maintain. And then finally, territory managers report to regional managers, regional vice presidents, regional directors. It's important to understand this hierarchy because most of the income conversation surrounds the territory manager role, because this is the main medical device sales rep position. So that's where we're going to spend most of our time. But since many of you watching this channel would be entering as an associate, it's going to be important to talk about that first. So what is the associate sales rep role? The associate role is what I consider to be the best entry-level field sales position on the planet. It's essentially like a paid apprenticeship for medical device sales, because these companies recognize that you don't yet have the experience to understand the business or to understand the world and the sales process of medical device. So you as an associate rep really get to learn the ropes and get paid for it. The main objective as an associate is really to support the senior territory managers. You're reporting to territory managers and you're helping them with their accounts that they already have. Because keep in mind, a territory manager is focused on getting new accounts, new business, new projects, but the high volume hospitals and accounts that purchase equipment from you still need attention. And that's where the associate falls in. So you get to learn the clinical world, you get to learn the sales world, but you don't have to worry about commissions or quotas or any of that stuff. So how they get paid is very simple. Since they don't have a quota or any sort of performance metrics that are really micromanaged, you basically get paid just a flat base salary. And the bottom line is this: almost every associate position will pay you a base salary in the $60,000 to $80,000 range as of March 2026. This is good, stable income. It doesn't fluctuate. Since you don't really have a quota over your head, there isn't this like huge fluctuating commission potential. It's really just a stable base, consistent salary. Now, here's the good news is there is often a bonus incentive structure offered to associates. So even though you get hired at about 60 to 80K, you typically see an additional $10,000 to $20,000 in available bonus income. And since you're an associate and you're helping out territory managers, plural, the bonus will typically be calculated by how those territory managers perform. So if they overexceed, you might get access to an additional $10,000 to $20,000 per year. So all in all, the average associate rep income, all said and done, is about $80,000 to $90,000, which is, a tremendous entry-level income into this industry. So I'll explain the timeline that it takes to go from an associate to a senior rep in more detail later in this video. But for right now, in about 1 to 3 years time, you'll then ascend into a territory manager. And this is really where the income potential really starts to expand and get more complicated. Now, this is where most of the confusion comes in, because territory managers are typically paid on a base plus commission status. So almost always territory managers are paid base plus commission, meaning you have a base salary that you get paid regardless of how you perform. And then you're incentivized for a certain portion of the amount of business that you bring in. Now, you're really going to fall in one of these two buckets when it comes to the base plus commission model, depending on the company and the product that you work for. The first bucket is high base, low commission. And as you guessed it, this means that you have a really high base salary and you have the potential to make additional income on commission, but it's not where you make a bulk of your money. We typically see on these high base, low commission structures, the base salary being anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000. And then with commission, you can make an additional $40,000 to $100,000. Now, most of the time when you get a job offer in this industry, it'll be based on what's known as an OTE, an on-target earning. I'm going to explain this in more detail in a few minutes, but on-target earning essentially means that if you hit the expected number of business, the expected number of revenue in the job, here's what you will be paid. Now, again, I will go into this in a little bit more detail in a minute, but for the sake of right now, the high base, lower commission model model is typically reserved for positions that have longer sales cycles. So a good example of this would be what's known as capital sales. So if you work for a medical device company that sells a product that is a really high ticket product, like the Da Vinci robot is a really good example. This is a multi-million-dollar sale. They often only happen a few times a year, if that. So because of that, it doesn't make sense to pay you heavily off of commission because the sales cycle takes so long. It might take 2 years for a given hospital to actually complete the process necessary to buy that $2 million robot. So that's why you'll typically receive a high base and then additional commission on the sale once it's made. That gives you a stable income despite the fact that the product takes forever to actually close, which is good. That gives you just stable income and stability overall. Now, the second model are the lower base, high commission payouts. And in these examples, we typically see bases of anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000 with another $100,000 to $200,000 in commission. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, why would there be these two different buckets? And the reason why there's a lower base, higher commission model is because those companies, products, divisions that you work for typically have way shorter sales cycles. So in the capital example that I just gave with the Da Vinci robot, those take forever to sell. You might only have a few sales a year. But on the flip side, in the high commission bucket, these are typically sales that happen very routinely. A really good example of this might be orthopedic or implant sales, or what's known as disposable sales, which are products that are used in a surgery and then thrown out because the hospital now needs to purchase these very regularly. They'll buy them in boxes of 10, 20, 30, and they'll often purchase many of them per month. So because of that, you get incentivized on those purchases. So you have a lower base salary, but it's also because you're bringing in another $50,000 to $100,000 in revenue every single month. So in the second bucket of the low base, high commission structure, these are typically reserved for orthopedic sales because implants are literally transactional. They're purchased typically on the day of surgery, if not in a weekly to monthly basis. It's often paid out in disposable sales, which are electrodes, tubing, other sterile materials that get tossed out. And bucket two is typically reserved for what's known as run rate business, meaning monthly reoccurring revenue, products that are purchased frequently. Now, regardless of which bucket it is, the most important figure to understand is what's known as the OTE, which is the on-target earning. And when you pursue positions in medical device sales, they will typically advertise and offer you the income based on that OTE. So in order to understand OTE, it's also important to understand the quota. And simply put, the quota is the expected amount of revenue that you are to bring in if you do the bare minimum in that role. So let me give you an example. If you were to take a territory manager position in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the company will often analyze what the previous year's revenue is in that Philadelphia area. So if it's $3 million in 2026 and you get hired for 2027, typically there will be a slight increase based on the company's goals and objectives, maybe 3 to 5%. And then that is your quota, is the minimum expectation of growth in that territory after you take it. So in this example, if you hit that 5% over $3 million, then you hit quota, hence making you the OTE, the on-target earning. So if a company offers you a position at $200,000 OTE, that means just that. You hit the quota, you make $200,000. So in either bucket, the payment plan offered you will be based on that OTE. Now, before we move on to how quickly you can hit six figures, I do want to address the biggest elephant in the room, which is the fear around commission. And this fear is more exclusively to those that are not yet in the industry. A lot of people get nervous when they hear that word commission. And here's really what you need to understand, okay? In the example that I had just given you about Philadelphia, almost every territory already produces revenue. They're already generating $2, $3, $4 million per year. So the commission plan is always based on the existing run rate of the territory, the fact that it's already generating revenue, which means that if you came in and, literally did the bare minimum, it would continue to generate that revenue, hence making you damn near that OTE with minimal effort. My point is that the payment and income structure here is not designed for you to eat ramen noodles and be struggling paycheck to paycheck. As much as I hate to admit it, there are many reps out there that come in and sit on their butts and don't do a lot of work and still make a fortune in medical device sales. Now, I absolutely do not want any of you guys to pursue this industry with that expectation because that is not how high performers think, and not many companies will want to hire you if you bring that attitude. But the bottom line is, in many cases, even if the rep did absolutely nothing, the territory would still produce revenue. If it makes you feel any better, my last 3 years in medical device sales were in a position that was 100% commission, and I didn't have a single year in that position where I made less than $175,000. So now you get the difference between associate and territory manager. Now you understand commission versus base salary, and you also understand what OTE means. Now let's talk how quickly you can hit six figures when you break into this industry. Here's the typical timeline. Years 1 and 2, if you're coming into this industry as a total beginner, you are an associate, and you could make six figures just in those first 2 years. And if not, you'll get pretty close. So the speed at which you hit $100,000 plus is really going to determine how quickly you get promoted to a territory manager. And while some reps this takes 3 years, for others that are ambitious, they work hard, they're really focused on building a great reputation with the company, they can get it promoted in as quickly as 1 year, which is what I love about medical device sales. You're basically promoted based on merit, not by politics. I, for example, was promoted in I'm literally 10 months into being in this industry. So that's why I was able to make such substantial income by age 24. Now, not everybody will get promoted as quickly as I did. I worked my tail off to get to that. But with that being said, on average, by year 2, you will then move into a territory manager position. And almost always the OTE, the offered pay for you as a territory manager, is typically $150,000 to $250,000. So if you just like zoom out for a second, that's pretty incredible. You can come into this industry as a total beginner, make $60,000 to $100,000 in the first 1 to 3 years, and then immediately just pivot right into positions paying you $150,000 to $250,000 OTE. Not many career paths offer that. So in years 2 to 5, you're typically hovering around that OTE of $150,000 to $250,000 because you're still getting a lay of the land. You're still understanding your accounts and understanding the sales process of the specific hospitals that you work within, and you're building your reputation over that time frame. And also, depending on the product that you carry, the sales cycle might be very long. So it might take that 2 to 3 year range for you to really ramp and start overachieving. Now, years 5 and on is really where you start to hit that upper echelon of income, which is anywhere from $250,000 to $400,000. And this is simply because you've been in your territory for a few years now, and the compounding efforts start to reward you. So all the work that you've done over the past few years really start to balloon, because what happens is by you being in the territory for several years at this point, you've built good relationships with your accounts. So they start to reward you with business and projects even without you spawning them. Or the projects that you've been working on for years, they start to pop. And after having and juggling all of these opportunities, things just start to organically happen. So your territory starts to really grow over time. And this is where you really start to hit that $250,000 to $400,000 potential. But this is kind of where the income gets capped as a standard territory manager perspective, which is still a tremendous amount of income that affords a great lifestyle. And this is also typically the time frame where work starts to work a little less hard. And again, it's because you've been in the territory for so long that you have a good pulse on things. You don't need to grind as hard. Now, again, I do not recommend that you pursue this industry if you're going to go into it with that mindset of how little can I work. I'm not an advocate for not being a top performer when you do get into this industry, so I don't really respect that mindset at all. But it's not totally uncommon for reps to get to this range and just coast. Now, the other option by years 5 to 8 or so is to then ascend into leadership as a regional manager, as a regional vice president, or whatever the title is at the company that you're working for. Now, like reps, when you get into leadership, you are typically paid on base plus commission. And when you are a regional manager, you are responsible for a cluster of territory managers, so you're incentivized based on how they perform. So if they hit quota, or if the region as a whole hits quota, then you're paid and incentivized based on that. Now, their base salaries are typically way higher, anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000, with an OTE as a regional manager of anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000. The industry average is about $200,000 to $250,000 take home as a regional manager. Now, if you're new to this industry, you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, do they make less than top performing reps? And the answer is absolutely. And that's really how it should be in the world of sales, and especially field-based sales. Territory managers are the frontline guys bringing in the revenue. They are responsible directly for the growth of the business, and they should absolutely be rewarded and incentivized for that additional level of work. They're in the trenches, man. So yes, top performing territory managers will absolutely be making more than their seniors. Most regional management positions kind of cap around $300,000. So that segues us nicely into the last section here, which is how do some reps make $500,000 a year or more? $500,000, $700,000, even $1 million in take-home income. And believe it or not, as a matter of fact, I can't even condense the amount of names that I know of people that have done it down to just my 2 hands. And it really happens in one of 3 ways. The first is what I alluded to earlier, which is the compounding effect of running a territory for a long period of time. Because you have momentum, you have years of reputation and established accounts, and business just keeps growing and growing and growing. Now, I will say that most of the large multi-billion-dollar companies like, the Medtronics and the Johnson & Johnsons, they typically will cap their income at some point, and it's not common for reps to be making over $400,000 a year at those companies, even with the compounding effect that I'm talking about. It's rare at those large multi-billion-dollar companies to reach this level of income unless they have crazy large territories that produce so much revenue, like a Manhattan or a Los Angeles or a Chicago, because those territories might produce 3x the revenue of that of other territories, so they will be paid according to such. But almost always the territory compounding effect leading to this level of income is more common at a smaller med device company because the pay is not capped. The second way in which reps make $500,000 a year or more is almost always due to the second bucket, and that is because they've joined a smaller, more disruptive medical device company on their upward trajectory and they overachieved. So this is a product or a company that is having massive growth. The rep joins at the right time and they really hit the ground running, and they overachieve on top of that, so they get paid and incentivized upon the accelerators. When you exceed quota in any of these companies, in any of these positions, what tends to happen is you are given a higher commission rate and you are incentivized for overperformance. And the case is even higher with some of these smaller companies that have less of the corporate red tape. So like an early disruptive robotics company, for example, if you get in with the company at a good time and you overachieve in the territory, then you'll typically be paid very handsomely. Now, you might be thinking, Vince, I'm very financially motivated. Why don't I just do this right out of the gate? And the reality is this is much more risky, and most of these companies won't typically hire you unless you do have years of experience. It's usually better to have experience at a larger company. You understand the lay of the land, you understand how to sell, you have relationships at these accounts, and then you can pivot into a smaller company. And if you want to roll the dice at that point, you can for a tremendous upside. Now, some prefer just stability and to be making $300,000 a year consistently. So a lot of reps typically live in the territory compounding zone. Now, the last way that reps really make a fortune in medical device sales is a little bit of a more unique scenario. And this is when they are actually carrying multiple product bags. So some of these large multi-billion-dollar companies have many divisions in the company: a gynecology division, a urology division, a scopes and optics division. And what sometimes happens is they'll actually give a rep multiple of those divisions to carry simultaneously. Let me give you an example. If you're the Philadelphia rep for urology and you're successful and the company likes you and the company you have a good reputation at the company that you work at, the gynecology division might have an opening in Philadelphia and they're having a hard time backfilling it, so they might just give the urology rep that bag as well. So now they're carrying two different bags and they also get paid for both bags. And these are the situations where reps at large multi-billion-dollar companies can make over $500,000 a year. Now, you're also given additional responsibilities, so you have more work to do associated with that additional pay. And it's also not incredibly common, although it does happen. But that's the third scenario in which reps really take home substantial amounts of income. So with that, guys, that explains in a nutshell the way that medical device sales reps are paid. This is not a get-rich-quick career. However, this is one of the fastest ways for somebody with little to no experience to break into an industry and career path that will pay them multiple six figures almost right out of the gate, while also building a valuable professional skill set. You're in a recession-proof industry. You're making an impact on people's lives. Guys, I could go on. Medical device sales is truly one of the greatest places to be. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what medical device sales is like day to day, I recommend checking out this video. Now, here's the bad news. Medical device sales, because of all the perks that I just mentioned, it is one of the most challenging industries to break into. It's not uncommon for people to take up to 3 years to get in, sometimes longer. If breaking into medical device sales is something that you're serious about, that's exactly what we do inside Med Device Sales Academy, which is our one-on-one coaching and consulting program to help guide you individually into breaking into medical device sales and condensing that down to as quickly as 90 days. If that's something you're interested in, just click the link in this description to apply. Otherwise, if you're just looking for some free content, this podcast, this YouTube channel is the best place to be, hands down, for everything medical device sales. I'll see you guys next time.